Welcome back everybody. I am Mohib, your trainer for this entire free Django series. You're watching me on Code with Mohib YouTube channel. Hope you have subscribed to my channel and shared with your friends. In the last video, I talked about how to create a project and application inside project, and we also learned about how to install or add application inside a project. So without wasting much time, let's get straight into this class. In continuation of our Django series, in this video I am talking about application directory structure and how to create functional based view. So to do that, first we have to create our project. To create our project, first I will just create a folder here. I'll call this as project. Inside this folder I'll create my project. To do that, we have to click here and open our CMD or command prompt, and you can see that I am inside this directory, and that is the project folder. So here I type Django -admin start project, and I'll call this project as school project. And once I hit enter, the project will be created here. And you can see that the project is created. So we have to go straight inside this project folder and we'll create our project. To do this, we can go through CMD or just by double click on this folder. Once you open this, and you can type CMD here and hit enter, the CMD will be opened. So I'll just type here cd school project, and now I'm inside school project. And you can see that by typing dir, we will have the manage.py file and also project folder as well. So this is manage.py and school project folder as well. So once I am inside this school project folder, I can create my application. To create my application, I type python manage.py start app. I'll call this app as welcome page. So once I hit enter, and you can see that welcome page application is created. So you open the welcome page application and you see that there are a bunch of files and a folder. Now at first I'll talk about the direct structure of the application, what folder and files we have here and what they actually do. I'll not jump in deep because in later videos I'll talk in details about each file of the application. But as a short introduction level, I'll give you that the migration folder is mostly used when we create our application so that the application interacts with database. Once we run our make migrations command, then our make migrations command will create all files that are important for model that is interacting with our database. So this folder contains __init__ file, which means it is a Python package. It also contains all files which are created after running make migrations command. The next one we have init__init__py. So this file is inside our application, directly inside our application. This file shows that it is a Python package. So the folder which contains __init__the py file is considered as Python package. Here next one we have admin.py. This file is used to register SQL tables so we could perform CRUD operations from admin application. Admin application is provided by Django to perform CRUD operations. So once we want to insert, delete, update operations using admin panel or admin page through Django, then we use this file. Next one we have apps.py. Apps.py, this file is used to configure our application. How we configure our application or admin panel inside our application, we will use this one in later videos. The modules.py file, this is used to create our model class. Later these classes can be converted into database tables by Django for our application. Means that when we create our application which interacts with database, then all database code will be written inside models.py file. Next one we have test.py. This file is only used to create tests. This file will be only used to create tests. And the most important file is views.py. This file is used to create our views. We create all business logic related code in this file. Now, to create business logic, we can create our views. Views in Python can be created in two ways. They can be created using functional based view or class based view. What I have to do here is that I'll open this project inside my code editor or any text editor so that I can simply explain all about the process or the steps of creating a function based view and how request is sent in order to load our page and open our function based view. So we created our application. Once our application is created, we can install or add our application inside our project. To add or install our application inside project, we have to open the settings.py, which is inside the inner project folder, inside settings.py file, and inside that one we can add or configure or install all application. So I open the Notepad++. Inside this one I'll open folder as workplace. So that is I have to go to desktop. In desktop I have projects. Inside project I have school project. I'll open this one. So you can see that my application is here. This is the inner project folder. This is the inner project folder and this is my application. So what I have to do is that I have to install my application inside settings.py folder of settings.py file of my project. Just go to install_apps variable, which is a list variable. Inside that I'll install or add welcome page application. So I open this one and here in install_apps I'll write single quote and welcome page application and comma. What I need is a comma here. If it is of the last one, so using comma is optional, but if it is in the middle or the first or something, then you must use a comma. So it is a best practice to always use your comma after writing the name of your application. Once application is installed or added inside our project, now we can create our function-based view. To create function-based view, I have to open views.py file. So for better understanding, I'll copy this one and through this I'll explain you the entire process. So this is the entire directory that we have created in our application, in our project and application. Now what I have to do is first I have to open my views.py file. Inside views.py file we write our function-based view. So what is function-based view? In order to create the view, there are two possible ways, as I told you, that we can create function-based view or class-based view. To create function-based view, we have to open pys.file. Of course, do remember to create class-based view, we also write the class-based view inside views.py file. We can call this as a file or module inside our application. A function-based view is a Python function that takes a request, it means a web request, and returns a web response. This response can be any HTML content or a web page or any redirections or any image. And we can also redirect or response XML document to the user. Each view function tables as HTML request object as its first parameter. The view returns an HTTP object that contains the generated response. Each view function is responsible for returning an HTTP response object. We will call these functions based view as view function or view function of application or simply as a view. So first you have to open views.py file of the application and we can write a function view as below. First, I'll do one thing. I will just write them step by step. So the first one we have to do is, number one, open views.py file. So what we have to do is that we have to open our views.py file. Inside views.py file, we can write our logic. And that is called as business logic, or we can call this as view logic. We can call this as a business logic, or we can call it as, or we can create our function here. So to do this, I'll just change the color and I will simply write, I will just 14. I'll make a div as creating our function. So I'll say show welcome message. What I have to do in this function, that first we have to take a request here. First we have to write a parameter. This parameter is in fact a request object. It's a request object. So the first one is request. You can write request or you can write any name. For example, code with Mohib, it is also possible. It is the name of, or it is the object name, or we can call this as a simply as a name. So for standard convection, we write request. Now what I have to do is that inside this function I'll write return. Of course you can write return, and later we'll talk about writing render as well. So I will write return, and this function will return HTTP response. The response of your function based view can be any text. Any text can be any text. You can write a text here. You can write a text here. You can write a text. Or you can write, for example, you can write a variable, or you can write any HTML code. You can write any text. You can write variables, or you can write HTML code. So this is HTTP request object. It can be any other name as well, but for conventional wise, it is better to write request. And here you can write any HTTP response object, and here you can write HTTP response. Now you can see that HTTP response is a class. First we have to import this class. This class exists inside a package that is Django.htp. So we have to import this class. To import this class, we write from Django.http import, and I write the name of the class, which is nothing but HTTP response. HTTP response, and this will import the object. This will import this class. So the first one is that you have to open your file and you can write your function, and function you can write any logic. For example, I'll write div show welcome message request This is the request object. Inside this request object, I'll write return HTTP response, and I will write welcome to our first application. Welcome to our first application. That's it. I'll write this simple text. You can write any variable, you can write HTML code, nothing, anything. So I have to import this class as well. To import this class, simply I write from django.http import HTTP response, import HTTP response. That's it. So the first thing is that we have to open our views.py file and write our code. So this is our code that we have written. This is the code that we have written. The second thing is here that we have to open our urls.py file, which is inside our project, in a project folder. We have to open this one and add this function inside that urls.py file. So the second here, I'll write number two, open urls.py module, or you can call file, and configure the view, configure the function inside the urls.py module inside this one. So to do this one, you have to go to URL patterns. Let me open the file. This is URLs, and you have to come and inside the URLs pattern, and you can write the URLs here. Inside the path function, it is also URL pattern variable of type list. Inside this one, we can write path, and inside path, you can address this one. How? I'll just write here. So to do that one, we simply write, I'll just copy this. I'll copy this one without wasting our time. So I paste here, and you can see that inside this URLs patterns, it is a variable of type list. Inside this, we can add this function. How should we add this function? It is a question. To do that one, we write path method, path. It is a function, and it is a function. Here you have to write the two parameters. The first one you can write any name, and slash. You can write any name. So here, as you can see, admin is written, so it will open the admin panel. You can write any name. So later, by using this name, we can send a request to our function or to our view, or we can call function-based view. And the second parameter is the name of this function. The second thing is the name of this function. That is show welcome message. So the next one, what we have to do is that we write function name. That's it. We have to write the function name. Now, how to do this one? I write the code here. I write this code exactly here. So how is it possible? We have to write like this. This is my code, URL patterns. I have copied from here. This is. Now the second line, I have to add it here. Comma is important. Remember that using comma is important. Path. So I write a name, welcome. That's it, welcome. And slash is important to write a slash, then comma, and I write the function name, that is show welcome message, MESSAG message. That's the name of my function. I'll close this one and use a comma. But do remember that show welcome message, it is a function that is located inside views.py. let me just surround them inside rectangles so that you can differentiate the codes. This code is inside this code is inside my views.py file, and this code, this code is inside what? Inside my urls.py file. This is inside an application that is called welcome message application, welcome page application, and this is my project, which is school project. Now once we hit the URL with this name, welcome, so this will load this function. But the problem comes here that where this function exists. This function exists inside views.py file. So what I have to do here is that I also have to mention the file where this function exists, that is inside my views.py file. So I will write here, I'll just a little bit bring it this side. So what I have to do here, I have to write views.py, views dot show message. What does it mean? That it means that this show welcome messages inside views function. Inside this shows that show welcome message is inside views.py module or file. But the question comes here that where views.py file is. To do that, we must import or address this one. How should we address or import this file? To do, we have to write here that from welcome page import views. Welcome page import views. What it means that this view file is inside my welcome page application. It means that my view file is inside welcome page application, inside this one. So first we have to import views.file from welcome page application, and then with views.show message we'll call this function. So step number 1, open views.py file to write this code. The second one, open urls.py module to write this code inside it. And now the step number 3 is to open browser and send request. How do we do that? I will write here. One thing, remember that first you should run your server and then you open your browser. So open your browser. So it is better to write that number 3, run server. To run server, what we have to do is we have to write python manage.py run server. Manage.py run server. You know how to run server because in the last video I talked about how to run server and send a request. So number 4, I can call that, I can write now open browser. Number 4, open browser. To open browser, you simply open browser, and now you have to send a request and send a request. To send a request, we simply, what we have to do is that once we run our server, it will give us number, it will give us the port number. So the first thing here we have 120 what so and so dot 8000. It is the port number slash. After slash, you have to write the path that you have written here. So what I have to do is that I'll write this one here. I will write here welcome. That's it. Once we hit enter, the process will be something like this. Browser, the first thing it will do is that the request will come here. the request will come to this one. It is step number 1. It is number 1. And from here it will go to views.py. It will go to views.py file, or inside views.py module, and it will search for what? It will search for show welcome message. So number two, it will jump into views.py file. Inside views.py file, it will search for what? Show welcome message function. It is number 3. It is number 3. And the control will be shifted to views.py file, and inside this it will find show welcome message, and it will load what is written here. So it might be a text, it might be a variable, or it might be an HTML document, or you can address the template as well. So without wasting time through this one, I'll just continue the process. Now inside my project, first I'll open my views.py file. Of course there's is views.py file, and I write this code. So come here, and inside views.py file I'll just write diff show welcome message request, and here I'll write welcome message. So what I have to do is I return http response. Inside response I will write welcome to my first application. That's it. So we have to import this class as well. How should we import? From Django, oh my god, Django.http import http response. That's it. This is step number 1. Number 2, we have to open your URLs, and this is I open URLs, that is inside my inner project folder, and I write path. I write welcome, of course, slash, and that is inside views.show welcome message. Show welcome message. That's it. And using comma, do remember to use comma. But we have to also import this views file. Where is view? From welcome page. Of course, it is the name of my application. Welcome page. Import views. That's it. Save. And now what I have to do is that I have to run my server. Where is my server? So you can see inside this one the steps. Number 1, I open my views.py file. I written this one. Number 2, URLs. I have written this code. Number 3, run server. To run server, I have to come where my inner project, and this is my manage.py. Inside this one, I'll open cmd, and I'll run python manage.py run server. If there's no problem in my code, then it will open the run. Then it will run server. So I'll copy this one. I'll copy this one. How to copy? Just hit enter and open the browser. I open the browser and I paste this one /welcome. What is welcome? Welcome is actually my URL pattern here. I have written welcome. Now hit enter, and you can see that what code is written there, it will be shown to us. You can also write HTML code as well. So to write HTML code, I have to come to views. Inside views, I can write HTML code as well. For example, h1, and I'll close h1, save, and you can hit enter as well. Just enter, and you can see it shows HTML code. But writing HTML code here is not recommended. We will create a template. Inside template, we will have all our HTML files, CSS files, and JavaScript. Then we can send our request and load our page or files. The next thing is here that we can also write another function as well. For example, I write another function, diff show result, show sum. I write request. Inside request, I can add 2 numbers. For example, num1 equals to 10, num2 equals to 20, result equals to, for example, num1 plus num2, and I will write return HTTP response, and I write just result. It will just show me the result. Now to do that one, you can see that you have to follow these steps. You have to follow these steps. We write our function. The second thing, we have to configure this one, or we have to make a URL for this function. To do that one, I'll go to the url.py file. Inside this one, I will write path. I will write, for example, calculation, and slash comma views dot. The name of the function is, the name of function here I have written is show sum. Copy this one and save here, and I'll paste it and save. Then what we have to do is just send a request. The name of the URL pattern for that one is sum for calculation. Hit enter, and you can see the result is written. In case you want to type a sentence as well, then what we have to do here is that you have to write if, which stands for formatting. To do so, what we have to do is we can write our sentence here, that is the result, the addition is, and then you can write the name of variable inside curly braces, and open your single quote here. But it is better to write double quote. I'll talk about this one later in Django template language, DTL. So there we will talk about this one. But as a example purpose, I have written this example for you. Now send a request, and you can see you can also type a sentence as well here. So as I told you before that you can write any text, you can write any variable, HTML, or you can redirect to an image or redirection. You can do anything you want. So in this video, we learned about how to create a functional view, and also we learned about application directory structure. And this is enough for today. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.